Hey Algebra 1, so this is your instruction for today. I hope you're watching these videos and I hope that you are taking notes because that's important. All of this is just more of what you've been doing. I'm just going to make sure that you have examples so that you know that you're confident in what you probably think that you should be doing anyways. So when we have an equation like this where we have distribution, again, that just falls under the step of simplifying. Okay, so that's all we're going to do. We're just going to simplify both sides completely first before we start solving. So right now I want you to pause this video and go ahead and write down the title, these steps. Also write the date up in the top right hand corner so that you can have that. Okay, so now that you've written that down, pause the video, written it down, we're going to go ahead and do this problem. So, like I said, the steps are to first simplify both sides completely first. Then, if we have variables on both sides, we're going to combine the variables on one side. Doesn't matter which side, just on one side. And then we're going to solve it using inverse operations, because at this point where we combine the variables, it should be just like a two-step equation. Alright, so I'm going to start here. I'm only going to start simplifying where I have my distribution. So I'm going to start the distribution first. Positive 3 times positive 2, positive 3 times positive 1. Make sure that you underline it with the sign in front so that you know if it's a positive or negative number that you're working with. So 3 times 2v is going to be 6v. 3 times 1 is going to be 3. And since it's a positive 3, I'm going to put a plus 3 here. And I'm just going to bring down the 4v. And this was a positive 6, so I'm going to go ahead and put a plus in front of the 6v. I'm going to bring down the 6v minus 2. And then I look and see if I can simplify any more. This is completely simplified on this side, but on this side I still have two v's that can be combined together. So I'm going to combine my like terms here. Now 4v plus 6v is going to be 10v. And if you start with a sign in front, that will always tell you how you're going to put it in the calculator. So it's very important to, when you combine your like terms, you circle it with the sign in front so that you know what you're doing. You're adding the 6. Then I bring down the 3. Then I bring down the 6v minus 2. And now this is completely simplified. This is completely simplified. I have completely simplified both sides. So step 1 is finished. I'm going to go to this step. I need to combine my variables on one side. I look and I see that there are variables on both sides. Sometimes there isn't, so you don't have to do that. But on this one there is. There's a variable on one side, there's a variable on the other side. So I need to combine those onto one side. I'm going to start with the one that's the smaller one because that's usually easier. If you don't, it'll still work. You can move either one, but I like to start with the one that's smaller or move the one that's smaller because usually it makes the number positive. So if I move the 6v, that's going to be minus 6v because we're using inverse operations, right? So this is a positive 6v, so this will be a minus 6v. Minus 6v. This will cancel out. Then I'm going to put minus 2 here for negative 2, and then 10 minus 6 will be 4v. I'll bring down the 3. And then from here, this is just a two-step equation. So now I'm just going to try to get v by itself, right? So my goal here is to isolate v by itself on this side. So v is a loner. He doesn't want these roommates with him. I have to take the 3. He's got to move out. 4's got to move out. But it's got to be in a certain order. Okay? So we're always going to start with the adding subtracting number. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 3 from both sides because that's the opposite of adding 3. We talked about that previously, right? We always do the opposite to both sides. So this cancels to be 0. All I have left on this side is 4v. And then on this, I'm actually doing the math here. So negative 2 minus 3. You can put that in your calculator. Negative 2 minus 3 is going to be negative 5. Anytime you are subtracting from a negative number, it's going to be more negative. From here, I still need to get v by itself. He's He wants to get all of his roommates out of his apartment. So that 4 needs to move over. So I got to figure out, though, what's going on between the 4 and the v. It's multiplication. If you have a number next to a variable, it's multiplication that's happening between these two. So the way that I'm going to break that relationship is by the opposite of that, which is division. So the opposite of multiplication is division. I divide both sides by 4. Cancel that. V is left by itself. And then we have negative 5 over 4 here as our answer. Okay, so it's going to be really simple notes today. I'm just going to do one more that you can try on your own, and then we'll see if you get it right, okay? So let's do 5v minus 2 times 6v plus 3 equals 4v minus v plus 3. Okay, so I want you guys to try to do that on your own. So you need to pause the video and try that. Okay, so you should have done that problem, and we're going to go through it right now. Okay, so like I said, first step is to simplify. So I have to look at both sides and simplify it. So when we started out the year, you were just doing this. That's all you were doing. So this should be not new to you. You should have been doing this since the beginning of the year, right? So we're just simplifying this side, and then you go to this side and make sure that that's simplified, right, by combining like terms and distributing. Okay, so if I'm just looking at this side, what I would need to do to simplify it is to take the negative 2, distribute that into the parentheses. That's going to become negative 12v minus 6. And then I bring down the 5v, trying to write a little bit smaller so I can fit everything. And then I'm going to bring down the 4v minus v plus 3. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and combine these like terms on this side. I'm going to go ahead and combine my like terms on this side too. I'm just going to do it in one step on both sides. So these are like terms. 5 minus 12 is going to be negative 7v. And then I'm going to bring down the 6. And then the 4v minus v, that's going to be 3v. Bring down the 3. And then from here, I'm going to go ahead and move the 3 over to combine with the 7 because I got variables on both sides. I've completely simplified both. This is, can't do anything more with this, can't do anything more with this by itself. It's completely simplified. But if I look, I got variables on both sides, so I'm going to go ahead and move the 3v to combine it with the 7v on one side. So I'm going to subtract the 3v on both sides. That'll cancel. I'll get negative 10v. Like I said, if you're subtracting from a negative, that's going to be more negative. Bring down the 3 that was left on this side. And now this is just a two-step equation. I want to get v by itself. He's a loner. He doesn't want his roommates in the apartment with him. He wants them gone. We're going to start with the adding, subtracting number. The opposite of subtracting 6 is to add 6. So you're going to add 6 to both sides. That'll cancel. You'll get negative 10v on this side left. 3 plus 6 is 9. And then one more roommate we need to get rid of. Multiplication's happening between these two, so to break that relationship, we have to do the opposite, which is division. I don't know why I put 2. It's a 10. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay. It's a 10. Negative 10. Negative 10. Okay. I got it, guys. Okay, so then we cancel that out. That's v equals, and then our answer would be negative 9/10. Alright, so that is it. I think I will actually show you just one more example in case you have, well, no. I think this is good. If you just happen to have distribution that needs to happen on this side also, if you have distribution on both sides, you would just do that on both sides. I mean, it's just the same stuff. So if, like I said, this happen to be very similar on this side where you have parentheses on both sides, you would just distribute on both sides and simplify it and solve it just like we've been doing. So just work on your worksheet, and when I get back, hopefully if you have any questions, I can clear that up. All right, thanks guys. Bye.